What kind of tree is this?
This right here, this is a moon gold apricot.
Moon gold apricot.
Moon gold apricot, and we actually, there's one behind you there, and that's the sun gold, and we always plant the moon gold where the moon sets, and the sun gold where the sun comes up, and there's a heavy set this year. As you can see, if we pull a branch down here, these are young little apricots setting on. This little green right there, those are young little apricots setting on, and that's how you can tell. Now some of these here, this is a Santa Rosa plum. Okay. They're a big red sweet plum, and we use that in our Millennium Jam, which come out during the Millennium, and that's apricots, Santa Rosa plums, Matisse white wine, honey, and sugar. And so this is a key plum to have that in there, and once it's a sweet plum, it adds a little sweetness to that apricot for the Millennium Jam. It's a wild plum, and what I do here is I go back here in the back 40, and there's wild plums everywhere, and I go out there and I dig one up, and I bring it here, and I plant her here for our wild plum jam.
Okay, and you've got some blossoms on this one.
Yep, it's just a young tree. This is a 4-year-old tree, and we'll get fruit off it this year.
Is this the first time you'll be getting fruit?
This will be the first time, usually between 4 and 6 years.
Right here?
This is actually a currant bush, and this right here is the black currant.
Ah.
And these are all the little blooms right now, and they're actually starting to set little currants. And as they set, they actually look like miniature bunches of grapes. This is a Wisconsin Balmer. It's a peach tree. It is actually, the buds on the peach tree are my favorite. They're just so beautiful. They're a tight little pink bud, and then they open up. They're such a pretty pink. And when the conditions are right, the fragrance from a peach bud is just outstanding. And as you can tell, this is loaded. We have about three or four varieties of peaches. We have the Reliance, the Wisconsin Balmer, the Finger Lake.
Do you have some sort of a special machine for pitting them?
These are actually a freestone peach.
Oh, really?
And freestone is when you break the peach open, the pit of it falls out. And then you have cling peaches. And the cling peach is where the peach clings to the pit. And most of our peaches are freestone. And no, when you slice them in half, it falls right out. This is all hands-on. You use a paring knife for this.
What about the cherries?
The cherries, we cook those down. So we cook those down, and then we run those through a colander, just like what you'd have in your household with a whip.
Okay.
And that takes the pits out.
What special equipment, like the stoves and that sort of stuff? You must have large industrial stoves to do this, right?
No, we actually have pots and pans just like you'd have in your household for boiling sweet corn.
Really?
They're 12-quart pans, and there's regular household whips, regular household spatula, regular household stove. This is done just like they'd done years ago. The man who come up with this business, Jim Schrader, over 39 years ago. He died at 88 years old, but he started making jams just the way his mother taught him on the cook stove.
Oh, is that right? And
so now we use an electric stove. We just do 10, 12 jars at a time.
Wow.
And I think that's the key to having a good product. The small batches and your hands right on it. You know what's going on the whole time.
So when I see those rows and rows of jars that you have set up at the farmer's market, what you're telling me is when you process those, it's 12 jars at a time.
Yep, 10 to 12. Sometimes after you get about 8 batches, and you'll slip in, maybe get a 13th one. But yes, 10 to 12 jars at a time.
Amazing.
And it's just you got to be on the ball, and it's a continued process. One pan comes off the stove, one at a time.
And is that because the industrial equipment is too expensive, or?
To get a good product, the more your hands are on that product in small batches, the better it's going to be. Okay. I think any processing line, whether it's vehicles or clothing or what it might be, the larger it is, the less quality you get. If you can get the hands-on, you find that across with everything. The small factories, the small hands-on, is always a better product, and I believe that's the key to it. Oh. 2 stoves, and this is what keeps the business going. If we go over here, down here, pots and pans just like you'd have in your house, a ladle just like you'd have in your house, your whip, and your spatula.
Wow.
And these are the other key tools.
What about the canners?
The canners, they're regular household canners. You can go to your regular hardware store, get a water bath canner. These canners haven't changed, I don't think, in over 100 years.
No.
They're the same granite canners. Jim came out here to the place and he started making wild plum jam and apple butter off the wild apple trees and the wild plum trees. And
he was just bought this house through somebody that he knew.
Yep.
Okay. And he hadn't planted anything. He just found these trees.
He started using the wild things that were naturally already grown here.
Okay, and then he canned those and took those to the market? To the market,
to the Dane County Farmers Market. Actually, back then he used to take and put them in baby food jars with paraffin on.
So he had been coming to the market for a long time.
Yes, Jim has been, I believe Jim made to the market 38 years.
Wow.
And he had only missed 2 markets in 38 years.
Okay.
One market he got rained out, and the other market he was hit by a drunk driver.
Wow.
So it forced him out of the market. He's very, very dedicated to the farmer's market.
Okay, and he has recently passed away.
And Jim has recently passed away, and now I have taken over the business. I have known Jim over 34 years. Back in 1976, I started planting asparagus for Jim.
And you've been, I mean, you're no stranger to this business.
No, I've been here on and off. Like I said, 4.5 years old, I started helping him plant asparagus. And Jim would always say, well, I think you drink more Tang than anything else. And, but either way, I still remember the asparagus in the wheelbarrow, and I've been here ever since.
So you pretty much know every aspect of this business?
Yes, Jim taught me everything I know. I've seen a kid on, whether it was I was watching through the window or him showing me. I've been around this 34 years on and off.
Wow, okay. And at the farmer's market, we should expect pretty much you to
It's going to be the same, and nothing will change. It's got to stay the same, and I'm going to continue it the same way Jim taught me how to do it. He wouldn't have it any other way.
So, Dan, is the rhubarb ready?
Rhubarb is ready to go. We will start pulling that in a couple of days and storing that away in the freezer. We go through a lot of rhubarb. We have a lot of rhubarb products. We have strawberry rhubarb, we have raspberry rhubarb, we have Brigida, which is apricot and rhubarb. Ginger rhubarb is an excellent jam if you like ginger, and that's rhubarb with just a hint of ginger, and then also on the bottom of the jar we put candied rhubarb, which is wildwood, and that's an excellent choice of rhubarb too. And cherry rhubarb, apple rhubarb.
Cherry rhubarb?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is this here?
This is a sickle pear. It's a very, very old pear. It's an heirloom pear. They don't get very big, maybe, they don't get maybe 3 inches at the most, by about 1 inch wide, but the sweetness of them are out of this world. It's just like eating honey, and that's what we use for our pear jam.
Oh, okay.
They're outstanding pear.
Is it always so windy here?
Yes, actually they called it wind blow. It's just the name of this was wind blow. When Jim first started this business over 30 years ago, he first named it wind blow.
Interesting.
It's very windy up here.
This right here?
This is a Mount Morenzi cherry. It's considered what you call a pie cherry. It's the regular tart pear cherry you'd consider at Door County. Typically, it's what Door County grows. Well, we use this for our cherry jam. It's done blooming now. It's now setting its fruit. All these are little cherries that are all set on here. As you can see, the tree is just loaded, just absolutely loaded. We'll probably get about 10 5-gallon buckets just off this tree alone.
Wow.
She just sit, pick.